Hey guys, welcome back to Whiskey Blooded. My name is Dave, thanks for joining me. It's the weekend, it's Saturday night. We usually meet on Wednesdays, but I'm a little bored here today. It's snowing outside in Michigan on April freaking 2nd, so I figured I'm going to review a new bottle that I picked up, actually just today. I just had the chance of trying this a moment ago, so I'm going to review it for you. This is Orphan Barrel's The Gifted Horse. So let's jump into our normal format. We're going to talk about this whiskey. We're going to pour it and look at the color and nose it and taste it and score it out of 100. So once again, this is Whiskey Blooded. My name is Dave. We review whiskey and bourbon and spirits here on this channel. Thanks for joining me. So let's talk about this bottle for a second because this is a new Orphan Barrel product. So this is Orphan Barrel's new, trying to get into younger whiskey lineup. So the Gifted Horse, this is what they call it. It is a 115 proof, 115 proof American whiskey, as they call it. Bottled in Tullahoma, like I said, 115 proof. Their standard bottle, this is the normal bottle they use for all of their different whiskeys. And I've reviewed a couple other of Orphan Barrel's things on here. We love Orphan Barrel as bourbon drinkers. So they've got their Forged Oak, a 15-year-old. They've got their Rhetoric, which is a 20 and a 21-year-old. They've got their Barter House, a 20-year-old, and they've got Old Blowhard, which I believe is a 25-year-old. On this channel, I've reviewed the 20-year-old Rhetoric and the 20-year-old Barter House. I haven't reviewed any of the other stuff, but I've tried the Forged Oak. I've never tried the 25-year-old Old Blowhard. So I like Orphan Barrel because simply they have older whiskeys that they're trying to save, trying to salvage, sometimes mixed with other blended of the same age. But this one is unique. So this one is unique because this is a mix of 17-year-old whiskey with 4-year-old whiskey, or 17-year-old bourbon with 4-year-old sourced whiskey and bourbon. So I'm going to read you their story because this will help define it about this bottle. This will help give you an idea. And here is the bottle, by the way, guys. So there's the Gifted Horse bottle, standard bottle from Orphan Barrel. So let's read this. So the story of the Gifted Horse. As we were preparing our next Orphan Barrel release, the unthinkable happened. We made a whopper of a mistake, emptying barrels of much younger whiskey into a batch of beautiful 17-year-old Kentucky Straight bourbon whiskey. With bated breath, we tasted this monumental blunder and quickly agreed this was one gift horse we shouldn't look in the mouth. With a final balance of roughly 39% 17-year-old Kentucky Straight bourbon whiskey and 61% 4-year-old corn whiskey and Indiana bourbon, this unusual blend has aromas of apple skins, almond and toffee, and tasty hints of creamy caramel, oak resin, and pear. Our gaffe, I don't actually know that word. I'm going to have to Google that after. Our gaffe is your gift. We hope you'll agree that this happy mistake has created something surprisingly special. So do we believe this story by Orphan Barrel? Absolutely not. We're not naive bourbon drinkers. Me and you, if you've joined my channel for these, we've grown in our whiskey knowledge. We know that big whiskey makers, and bourbon makers especially, because it's become so popular, we know that they're looking for new and innovative ways to save some older stock or introduce newer, younger whiskey with older whiskey. So I think that that's what this is. This was not a mistake. You don't make a mistake that you then sell, tons of bottles of. This is them taking their old, very nice whiskey. So as they talk about, 31% of this bottle, or barrel, 31% is the 17-year-old Kentucky Straight bourbon whiskey. Probably really good stuff. I mean, most 17-year-old stuff, I don't want to say it's all good, but it's probably coming from, a premium distiller. And then the rest of it is this sourced Indiana bourbon and this corn whiskey. So that's the 61% of the bottle. So the majority, by 60% of this bottle is the 4-year-old, and the 30% is the 17-year-old. But that's not a bad thing, guys, because think about a lot of the 4-year-old whiskeys that we drink, like Woodford, for example. That's roughly a 4-year-old, and not Jack Daniels, but Jack Daniels, for example. Some of the Jim Beams are younger. Some of the like Bullet has a younger rye whiskeys. trying to think of other ones that are at that lower age point. I think that Maker's 46 is between 4 and 6 years. So you've got a lot of things that are around 4 to 6 years, and then they add this 17-year-old in, so it's not a terrible thing. How much was this bottle? It was $60. It's not a terrible price. I'm actually really not that upset with the price. The argument that people have against this bottle is that it's all blended and source stuff, so you shouldn't be paying a lot for something that's kind of like, what are they called? Dogs that are all mixed together. Mutts, I think. So, you shouldn't be paying something for, not a thoroughbred product, not a premium, 100% from one distiller product. But I'm okay with blended stuff. I'm okay with blended bourbon because it all has similar character profiles. So I'm okay with that. So let's try it. Let's do our normal format. We're gonna, like I said, pour it. We're going to nose it, look at color, taste it, and score it out of 100 too. I just tried a sip of this earlier. This is a brand new bottle, as I mentioned. So we'll do a pretty hefty pour here because I'm going to probably experiment and make some tasting notes on this over the day. This is my new glass, as I told you guys about last time. It's got this little topper here, which is cool. When you're not drinking it, you can put that on. But for this one, we do want it to like air out. Whoop, we do want it to air out for a quick second here as we look at the color and as we get ready to drink it. It's a dark color. That 17-year-old is definitely showing up. It's like a brownish color, which I think is pretty cool. There's the color for you. Actually, let's do this. Move this bottle. Use some of the light that I have set up over here to get a true idea of this color. So there's your color. And it's definitely a little bit darker here. I would define this color as between a brown and an amber. So it's got some nice dark color to it. And that's representative of that 17-year-old whiskey. The nose itself, the nose is a little weak. I get a lot of the, as I mentioned, that like oak and toasted resin. I do get some of the apple. Actually, now that it's sitting there for a minute in my nose, a lot of the apple and caramel. I'm also smelling this light, like, spicy mint. And that's probably that older whiskey. As those older whiskeys sit in here, they develop that oakier, mintier, spicier tobacco smell. We don't get that usually in young whiskeys. So let's try this, guys. Cheers. Happy Saturday to you. Hope you're having fun. And as we've talked about many times, and as is recommended by a lot of whiskey tasters, we want to go by the second taste, not the first one. We want to go by the second taste. Although I do like the finish on this one. So up front on this one, I do get that apple. I get the caramel. I get a little bit of that honey taste that we have come to love in bourbon. And then after that, it starts to open up. It does have a little bit too much of the oak resin for me, as they said. The oak, that charred, really based out taste. It reminds me of like if you mixed up oak and cardboard together. That's the only thing I don't like about this, and that's like mid-palate. It's got a medium finish. It's got a nice finish. It's got some burn to it. Some spicy notes start to open up. A tiny bit of that toasty tobacco, and definitely a spice, like a hot candy spice, and it continues with the caramel all the way through. So I think it tastes like it should. It tastes like a 17-year-old mixed with a 4-year-old. It's got some of those younger characteristics of maybe not the most premium whiskey in here. And like I said, in the mid, they kind of come out just a little bit. But in the beginning, it starts nice, it ends nice. The mid is a little confusing to me. I don't mind the bottle, though. For $60, I really don't mind it. People were complaining about this price, and they're saying, hey, this is maybe a bottle that they're just trying to make money on, and that we don't want to be tricked by these places. And I don't think they're intentional. I mean, maybe they are, but I really don't think that they think we're that naive, that we know that they're accidentally dumping, you know, mass amounts of 17 and 4-year-old whiskey in the same barrel. I don't think they think we're that naive. I think they know that we know that these stories are just kind of for fun, and that, you know, we are okay with stuff like this. They're not going to charge. So by the way, this is $60 a bottle, and the other ones are $100 to $150, and I've even seen some of them priced up to $200. So it's $60, and you're getting part of a 17-year-old whiskey. I mean, try to find a 17-year-old bourbon right now. Name a couple that you know, by the way, comment section, send me a message, that are less than $60. If they're out there, I don't know about them. I know 12-year-olds that are a lot lower. I even know a couple 14-year-olds that are a little bit lower, but 17-year-olds, and I'm not saying that age is everything in bourbon. In fact, I think the perfect age is probably somewhere between 10 and 12 years, but it's cool to try older stuff because it's just not that available. So I do like this. I like the price point. Try this one more time. The taste is okay. I haven't tried this with water. I haven't let it sit open. My guess is that as this sits open, it'll actually taste a little bit better. As this bottle sits for a little while, it'll actually taste a little bit better. It'll start to even out some of those more mellow tones. So I do like this. I think that I actually might pick up another bottle because I don't think that this is going to be, you know, just like the other Orphan barrels, I don't think it's going to be extremely easy to find. And I do like the price point at, I paid $60. I think in a lot of places you can get it as low as $50. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. So I'm going to put the score, but it's not my favorite. I mean, compared to the other Orphan barrels, this is nowhere close. But I'm going to put the score at this one at a solid, what we would call a B+. I'm going to say 88 out of 100 on this one. So we'll say 88 out of 100. I've made that sign way too big. 88 out of 100 on the Orphan barrel. And there we go, get back in the picture. 88 out of 100. I think you guys should buy it. I think you should buy it. I think you should try one bottle of it because there's not a lot of other stuff around 60, like Blanton's and all those other, you know, signature whiskeys. You've probably tried those a bunch of times. You've probably bought multiple bottles of them. This is something new. It's something different. One bottle of it's not going to kill you. I think it's interesting. I think that balance between the two is, like I said, in some spots it's a little bit tough, but it's still overall a solid, you know, solid first blast of fruit. It's a solid finish of the older stuff. And I think if this stuff sits open or maybe added a little bit of water too, I didn't do that here today. I usually don't add water on the reviews just because some people add a drop, some people add a tablespoon. It varies significantly by who you are. I think that this as itself though, it's a solid B to B plus whiskey, this 88 score. This is what I put it at, and I think you guys will like it. So thanks for joining me on Saturday. Thanks for letting me sit here and talk about Orphan Barrel for 13 minutes. I appreciate that. I hope to see you guys next Wednesday. I'll have another review coming out. I'll tell you what next Wednesday's review is right now because I feel like doing it. I also picked up today Jack Daniel's new rye. So we've been doing a couple more ryes on here. We're going to review Jack Daniel's rye whiskey on Wednesday. So I'll be going through with that. Let me know if you guys have any questions or comments. Put them in the comment section below. And also make sure if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I love doing this for you guys, and I'll see you on Wednesday. Thanks again. This is Dave with Whiskey Blooded. Enjoy your weekend.